Naomi Osaka's cold handshake. A look at the controversy surrounding her match with Cirstea. Naomi Osaka reached the fourth round of the Australian Open, but her latest victory was overshadowed by a tense moment at the net rather than her performance on court. A frosty handshake with Cirstea sparked discussion after the Romanian openly voiced frustration about Osaka's conduct during the match. The situation escalated despite the umpire showing little concern at the time, leading Osaka to address the issue during her on-court interview. While her initial reaction appeared emotional, the Japanese star later struck a more conciliatory tone in the press room, offering an apology that some observers felt was unnecessary. Pundits defend Naomi Osaka's response to Cirstea incident. Naomi Osaka found support from pundit Catherine Whitaker, who spoke in defense of the player on the tennis podcast. She said, Osaka said she regretted rising to it in her on-court interview the way she did, although I think there was nothing wrong at all with what she said, but she said that's just not me, and if I had my time again, I would not do that. I thought she was incredibly generous, Osaka, and made allowances for heat of the moment and emotions running high as Cirstea is playing in her final Australian Open, her final year on tour, which was something Cirstea was keen to talk about. She wanted to bring the narrative back to her incredible contributions to tennis over the last 15 years. It was pretty graceless from Cirstea, I think. Fellow pundit Matt Roberts echoed her thoughts. Yeah. I mean, the gripe seemed to be that Osaka was sort of pumping herself up too much and saying come on. She does do that thing. Osaka. If an opponent misses a serve, for example, he continued, she will just sort of maybe slap herself on the thigh and give a bit of a fist pump to herself, and say maybe come on. And I think maybe a couple of times that was audible, which he added before conceding. I could maybe see why you were a little bit put out by that as a server if that's happening between your first and second serve. However, he added, but she just totally overstepped the mark and yeah, it was pretty graceless. I think Osaka was upset by it actually. Catherine Whitaker then pointed out how there are more severe issues present in tennis at this time. There are far greater issues in tennis than getting wound up about an opponent pumping themselves up. Osaka well placed for deeper Australian Open run. Attention now turns back to the tennis, with Osaka facing Madison Inglis, a player ranked outside the world's top 150, in what appears a favorable matchup on paper. Victory would likely set up a high-profile fourth-round meeting with Iga Swiatek. Osaka's recent Australian Open history includes 2 titles and several third-round exits, but her form over the past year has shown she can still challenge the very best. A win over Inglis would already surpass last year's run, and on hard courts in Melbourne, the 2-time champion remains a serious contender to go further once again.